Hi. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this afternoon's open house webinar for Applied Science School. I'm Eldon, a research executive here in ASC. In today's session entitled My Life in VetTech, I will be interviewing 3 of our very own VetTech students, and they will be sharing with us their experience and insights in the course so far. Is life in TP stressful? Is it all work and no play? Let us find out. Right, so firstly, I would like to introduce Nigel, our freshman student in year 1.
Hello.
Hi, Nigel. Okay, next we have year 2 student, Grace.
Hi.
Hi, Grace. Okay, and last but not least, Darren from year 3, who is currently also our national team swimmer in Singapore.
Hello.
Hi, Darren. Okay, so let us, start with a few simple, easy questions. Okay, so today's objective is for, the upcoming students and parents to actually learn more about TP and our culture. Okay, so I think most of them are also curious about what kind of food is available in school, right? Okay, so maybe let's go around Robin, starting from Nigel. What is your favorite food so far in TP?
Okay. I think it's a bit unfair to think about my favorite food in TP, but if I had to say my favorite canteen, for example, I'll say Bispak because it has my 2 favorite foods, which is the business ban mian and the salad. So even when I was younger, I never really liked to eat vegetables. So I think that says a lot about how much I really enjoy the business salad. Yeah. So those would be my 2 favorite foods.
Okay, nice. How about Grace?
Okay, for me, I think definitely is in engine school. So me and my friends, we love to eat the mala there. And so Breadboard and Short Circuit they both have really good mala. But in Breadboard, if I'm not wrong, the mala has, I think, closed down for now. But the other thing that is really good there is the Taiwanese fried chicken, which is super good. And they have really good teh peng and ice Milo. So yes, that's my favorite food.
All right, I love it too, the taping over there. How about Darren?
Mine's definitely McDonald's, Subway, and triplets. Cause I can get fries and burgers from like McDonald's and also a good caffeine fix from Max. Or I can get like a sandwich from Subway, or maybe some waffles from triplets.
Okay, that's rather interesting. As an athletic you, having to eat fries and McDonald's is something different, right?
It's a cheat day.
Right. Okay. So, there's a wide variety of food available in TP, as you all heard from our 3 friends over here. Okay. So, next up, how about facilities? This year we are short of the live, tour that you have, but of course we have a virtual tour around campus. But what is it in TP and in ASC, in terms of facilities that you enjoy the most here? Nigel?
For me, I think I have to choose CAVS, which is the Center for Aquaculture and Veterinary Science. So it has a lot of different facilities like the aquaculture facility, the vet clinic, especially. But for me personally, I've only been to the labs, and not only that, it's actually like a special building for me because it's where we did like many different things and different projects. Like, for example, the science baskets, which I was in as a competition, recording the vet tech course video, and also VWC bonding day. So it was like a lot of special memories in that building. So apart from being a useful building, it's also very versatile from as you can see from all the examples. Yeah, so I think that would be my favorite facility.
All right, great. So for those of you who are listening in, you can tune in to our virtual site. You can actually get, a sneak peek of what is available on the building. So it's pretty special building, right? Yeah, with our own in-house clinic as well. Okay, how about Grace? What's your favorite spot in TP?
Okay, obviously, other than CAFs, which most vet students spend a lot of time in, I think it's very important because in poly you get a lot of independent learning and a lot of self-directed learning. So it's very important that you have your own like study spot. And in TP, I think the library and different study lounges such as Sprout really helped me, especially during COVID period when we couldn't go back to campus, right? So and when we did go back and we had projects to do, our group would actually meet up in like the library to do our projects, and because it's very quiet there, and yeah, it just is it's a very conducive environment for studying and reviewing our notes after lectures. So hopefully after COVID we can go back and enjoy the facilities more. Yeah.
Great. And the library is not just a simple library, right, Grace?
Nope. Is I think one of the tallest library, if like the most stories in the polys in Singapore. Yeah.
Okay, how about Darren?
Mine would definitely be CAVS and the library. That's the two places that I hang out most when I was in school. In the library, I love it because it's around 8 stories high, and like the view from the highest level you can see like the whole school and like the view of Turtle Reservoir. And it's a very quiet place to study and to do your work when you have assignments or projects to do. And there's a place where you can hang out with your friends and talk and to chill when you have breaks in between classes. I love CAVS is because it's the whole place is filled with different labs, clinics, animal holding areas where we keep different lab animals in it, and then that's where we learn our practical stuff. And I love it because the whole building is built to just for like our diploma for our studying and learning.
Brilliant. So we are a privileged bunch here. Okay, getting many facilities to enjoy and appreciate our learning as well. Okay, thank you, all three of you. Okay, so next question, I'll probably target this to Nigel. Since Nigel is a freshman student, right? And just finished your secondary school and embarking your tertiary education in the polytechnic. So there must be some kind of adjustments and difference in terms of both learning institutions. Am I right? So maybe you
Yeah.
would like to share to some of the listeners here who are looking to enter into a polytechnic. How was the adjustment like for you, and what are the differences between secondary school and poly education?
Okay, so it was actually quite a smooth transition, because it's like we really get to familiarize ourselves with the school since now there's like lesser classes in tutorials in classes, right? So we actually have more time between tutorials to go around school and really look around and see what the school has to offer. And for example, in PFP year, I was actually from PFP, right? So we had extra year to really adjust to poly life, where we learn about different modules and how to rely more on application for our projects and all these things. So it's really like a huge adjustment at first, but you really get to transition yourself into poly life much easily. Like for example, in secondary school, our projects is usually only one or two, but for uh, poly is kind of like almost every module we have there's a project. So the workload is different, but also the exams don't take as much of our grade as secondary school. So we really get to apply our knowledge so that we make sure we understand what we are learning. And yeah, I think I really like that change in our education when it comes to being in poly.
Okay, great. Of course, the huge difference will be not having to wear your uniform again, right?
Yeah, that too.
Okay. So apart from that, in poly we have practical lessons. We have that in secondary school as well, right? But
Yeah.
also we have lectures and tutorials which are different, right, from secondary school.
Yeah.
Okay, and to summarize what you mentioned is that there's a lot more project learning and group-based learning as well. Okay, that's great. Oops, sorry. Okay, so and also Grace and Nigel, you are part of the Veterinary Wildlife and Conservation Interest Group, right? And Darren is also representing the TP, swim club, correct? Right. So, in terms of education in TP, it's not just about academics. Okay, there are many areas in which one can actually develop himself or herself. Okay, so maybe I'll just run this by all of you. In terms of your journey so far, what have you learned and how have you developed along the way outside of academics? Maybe Darren, as a year 3 student, you have experienced more. Maybe you want to share first?
Okay, so for me, I think one of the things that I could develop outside of just studying and like finishing projects is being able to compete for the school. Me representing the swim team in TP gave me a team to represent and a school to represent to feel like I'm bringing TP to a better glory and like to bring up TP as a school where we're good at sports and swimming. So we had different competitions to represent school like the IVP, where we race with people from universities and other polys. And then we then have Polite, which is another competition where we represent uh, TP to compete with other polytechnics and ITs. So this gave me a lot of like a life lessons where I have to work with people from the swim team and also time management because we then have to train together and then we have to cope both swimming and then schoolwork together, which helps me like manage things a bit better than just studying throughout my 3 years. And definitely, in other than studying and finishing project and assignments, there's also internship and clinical rotation where I get to go out to work with other people from outside of the working world and working with colleagues, talking to clients, and just it's just a roller coaster ride where there's different challenges, but it's a bittersweet experience where you enjoy yourself and learn a lot of stuff throughout this whole 3 years.
Brilliant. As a matter of fact, you are in your internship now, right? Your student
Yes.
internship program. Okay, fantastic. How about Grace? Coming from a year 2 perspective,
Okay,
what
I
have
think
you
for
got to share?
me, yeah, because I joined. Sorry if you hear barking, that's my dog. So, anyways, yeah, cause I'm currently in year 2, and I joined VWC, our interest group, in year 2 as well. So I'm actually very thankful that I took the courage and the step forward to go for the interview, because I realized that after joining this committee, it really helped me, to really. I realized that there's so much more to poly than just studying and studying and studying and doing well for like exams, because I got to meet so many other people. Like I knew Nigel, who is a completely like different year group from me because of VWC, and because of VWC, I was able to interact with other interest groups and other for people from like other courses as well. So I really learned I okay sorry, from VWC I really learned that there is so much more to life than just studying, and I think the people that you work with, because we work together to organize events for the vet students and um yeah, mostly for the vet students, it really helped me to incorporate my love for animals and my love for people as like a welfare head together, and it really helps me throughout my 2 years in poly so far. Yeah.
Okay, nice. And Nigel, yourself, anything you want to add on as well?
Yeah, there were, especially when after getting our TP email, right, we have a lot of opportunities sent to us for different things. Like just in 2020 alone, in the beginning I joined the peace essay, Goy peace essay competition, and I also joined Science Baskers, and then after that I joined VWC. So there's a lot of different ways you can uh, improve on yourself, like creatively, and with your leadership and everything, other than your studies. But I think the one that stands out to me the most is our leap classes, where we get to know ourselves, our value, understand our values, and even learn like useful skills like finance and budgeting, so that we learn skills that we get to use after we graduate and once we enter adulthood with more responsibilities and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, coming from an adult perspective, yes, that's definitely valuable. Okay. And Grace, in your year two now, I understand that you're actually doing your clinical rotations out there in a real vet clinic. Okay, so how's your experience so far?
Okay, so as a year two, we'll be sent out to different clinics for our clinical practical module for about 3 weeks. And I think that in poly, what really made me choose poly over, let's say, JC is really the hands-on work and the work-life experience that you get in TP. So as a matter of fact, we actually will do about I think about 1 week of clinical work in our animal clinic in TP first before we are going out into the different clinics outside of school. And from there, we really learn that we really apply our knowledge in from our classroom into work, because in this field, right, it really is a lot more practical work than it is knowledge work. And when you enter the clinical setting, you really understand how a vet clinic works and what is your role as a vet tech. And it really helps you to hone your skills, because although you do get practice in our lab and with your lecturer guiding you, for example, how to draw blood. So they'll say, okay, you put your needle here and then you draw back. But it's really, really different when you do it in a clinic, and you really get a lot of advice from seniors and from like the different vets, as well as people who come from so many different backgrounds. Not all of the people that are from poly. Some of them they were from JC, or they did something else before coming into this field. So you really learn not only to hone your practical skills as a vet tech, but you really learn how to work well with other people, which is very, very important ultimately going out into the working world. Yeah.
Okay, Grace, it's interesting that you kept mentioning the word skills. So in terms of preparing yourself out in the working field, right? How do you think that the education in ASC in TP so far has helped you in that, for you to develop the skills and having that skills based knowledge?
Okay, I would say coming from secondary school, you get not you do get practical classes, but it's very, very different in TP. So I would say, as much as we study, we also have to apply it, and we also have practical classes. So that is something that I look forward to a lot coming from Sec 4 into Poly. So as a year two, I've experienced a lot of different practical classes, not just in a lab, but we, for one of our modules, which is the ecology and conservation module, we actually went out to Coney Island, and we actually did an intertidal watch. So we actually went there early in the morning until the afternoon, and we really analyzed and really learned about the different organisms that you can find in 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 the shores of Singapore, which I actually didn't realize that we actually have quite a good marine life here in Singapore. Always like people always say, "Oh, Singapore got nothing." Well, actually, from the module, I actually would learn a lot, and we actually realized that when you go out and when TP sends you out for all these different practical classes, it really allows you to think outside the box. So let's say if plan A doesn't work, and that is how we were taught in lectures, you will learn to think critically and how you would go and combat and try a different method. And that is something that I think is very good in poly, because you are not just taught one way, but you're taught to think of different ways and try to think on your feet lah. Yeah. So on top of that, like I said, our CAVS facility, we do have different labs and our TP animal clinic, which I think we are very, very fortunate to have, because we really get to learn in a clinical setting, even in school. And that is something that I think as vet students in TP, we are very fortunate to have.
Okay, nice. Thank you so much. And Darren, from your 3 years experience do we only do like paper exams, or are there different ways of assessing you guys?
There's different ways to being assessed in the classes where you can be either in projects, exams, or um, class participation. So you attending classes and like uh, participating in classes can be one of the assessed into your GPA, and assignments usually are when the lecturers or the teachers give you a title for your project, where then you have to search up and research different areas and different techniques or materials that you have to come out with a major report. And these resources can all be either found on books or like online. So during these 3 years, I actually learned how to like research for research articles or reports, or um, learn how to find books in the library related to the things that I'm learning, and definitely exams where it can be written or it can be practical, where they test you on how your practical skill is, and exams would be like term test papers where you have to sit for exam to get a grade.
Okay, basically to test your theoretical knowledge as well, right?
Yeah.
So we have both sides of the spectrum. Okay, great. Okay, so Darren, you have been managing your athletic career as well as studying. So we've talked so much about the school and your experience so far, but we want to learn about the people, the lecturers, the teachers teaching you. How have they supported you along your journey so far?
They supported me like really, really well. Like even though I give them like a lot of troubles almost all these 3 years, they're like a motherly figure to me. They take care of me, not just on how my results comes out to be, and they will ask about like how I'm coping with school, and mostly during when I'm away, like from classes, because I travel a lot for competitions. When I can't make it to classes, practicals, or tutorials, they will email me the lecture notes, or they will record the class for me to watch. And when I come back, they will try to catch up with me with the work that I've missed by meeting with me after school hours or whenever they are free. So this helps me a lot because when I'm away, I miss out a lot of them. And when I also mix exams, they would like create supplementary papers for me to sit in, or like if I miss my project deadlines, they will help me extend it and give me more time to do it. So whenever I have doubts or inquiries, I can just drop them an email or like go to their office to find them, and they'll be very happy and gladly to help you with.
Right. So we have a very encouraging and a patient bunch of teachers. It's great that you
Yeah.
are appreciative of them as well. Okay, perfect. Right. So now is we left 4 minutes. So very quickly, just one each of you to share. I think everybody wants to know after graduating. What do you think is in stock for you, and what do you want to do? Nigel, yourself. Sorry, Nigel, you're muted. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, for me, I don't really know what I want to strive for yet, because the outside world is really vast and a lot of different things we can do. So I really want to take my time to figure out what I can actually do and what I can strive for. So now VWC has done a series called Dear Younger Me, where we interview a lot of alumni who are now working and really see the different pathways they took, so that we can learn from them and maybe like see, oh yeah, that's something I would like to do, and maybe I can strive for that instead. Yeah. So there's a lot of different things that I want to find out first before I see what I want to do.
Yes, good, Nigel. You're still very early in your education here. Okay, how about Grace? Being slightly more mature and having to go through some clinical rotations and some experience outside. You have a plan ahead of you?
Yes, I actually do. So when I came into this course, I knew that I wanted to be a vet. So I wanted to continue with vet medicine after this diploma. And thankfully, after 2 years, I still want to become a vet, and my passion has not died. So yeah, that's something that I want to pursue. And I'm really thankful that I came to vet tech because it really gave me a kind of like an introduction to what this field is about, and it gave me time to think, is this really what I wanted to do? Because it's very different from what people would, other people would think this courses or what people in this line do. And I'm thankful that after going through the difficult times and all the challenges, I still want to become a vet. So that's what I'll be aiming for post after this diploma. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so just to clarify, after finishing the diploma, you're not a doctor yet, right? You have
No,
to
not
further
yet.
your
Yeah.
education. All right, great.
Yeah.
How about you, Darren? Has your internship so far outside influenced some of your future plans?
After being 3 years in VetTech and working around 6 months in the internship, I think I've got a clearer picture of what I wanted to do next year after finishing army. I also want to continue studying vet med and become a vet. I think with all the working opportunities TP gave me with the clinical rotations and the internship, I kind of learned like a lot of stuff during this period where I could put in like what I learned in school to real life experiences. And why I want to continue becoming a vet is because I like to work with people with the same passion for animals, and like to see animals coming from a sick state to leaving the clinic in a healthier and happier state. So this kind of gives me motivation and a passion to continue to do what I'm doing. And a lot of people like uh, don't appreciate vets enough because of the amount of work they put through. And it's just being able to see an animal get better kind of motivates me to do even better and want me to work more with animals next time.
Okay, thank you, Darren. I think we forgot to ask you, currently where are you interning?
Or I'm interning at Rehab Vet right now, where it's a physiotherapy clinic where I get to swim with dogs, and I get to work with dogs with injuries like hip dysplasia or IBDD or patella luxation injury. So we have different kind of dogs aging from a puppy to a old dog, where they have different issues, and it gave me a lot of perspective to what I want to do next time.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, and rounding up this session, okay, so just a final question for all of you. Okay, I'm sure there are prospective students and parents here today that are listening to you guys. So maybe we have a quick one sentence advice for someone who is considering their education here in TP with VetTech. Nigel?
Okay, if you join VetTech, the most important thing I'll have to tell you is to pace yourself and schedule time for work, but also remember to schedule time for rest and have that balance.
Okay, great. Grace?
One thing that I want to say is that don't join vet tech just because you love animals, because many people love animals, and it takes much, much more than just a love for animals to be in this line. So yes, that's what I would say.
Okay, and lastly, Darren, quick one.
You have to be committed to your decision to choosing VetTech and just follow your passion. Just do whatever you love and stay committed and work hard.
Okay, thank you so much, the three of you. And with that, we've come to the end of this webinar. Thank you for tuning in.